This man discovered more exploding stars than any telescope in the world, and he did it from his backyard, with nothing but a small telescope and his own memory. The ideas, the breakthroughs, the choices that shaped our world reveal how great minds thought, struggled, and built the future. Every lesson, every spark of brilliance is a minting of thought, and every invention, every battle, every vision leaves a trace. I'm Atlas, and I welcome you to a journey where history fuels your growth. This is Mind Mint. Before we begin, subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a story. And when we're done, leave a like if this chapter sparked your curiosity. Now, let's uncover the details behind today's story. Robert Owen Evans was not a scientist. He was a pastor in a small town in New South Wales, Australia. By day, he tended to his congregation. By night, he searched the heavens. In the 1970s, while others used technology, Evans relied on something far simpler: his memory. He memorized thousands of galaxies, learning them like old friends so that he could spot the faintest change, the birth of a supernova. A supernova is the death of a massive star. In a single instant, it shines brighter than billions of suns. And yet, what Evans saw through his telescope was not the present, but the past. Light takes time to travel. When Evans looked at a supernova, he was seeing something that happened millions of years ago. It was like looking back in time, catching the final heartbeat of a star long gone. In 1981, Evans made his first supernova discovery. A faint flicker in the galaxy. He knew instantly a star had died, and its light had traveled 60 million years just to meet his eyes. His discovery stunned professionals. How could a minister with a backyard telescope see what powerful observatories missed? Skepticism grew, but Evans only smiled and kept watching. Robert Evans was not seeking fame. For him, every discovery was personal. He felt a quiet awe, a connection to the universe, to the cycle of death and rebirth written in the stars. From that first supernova, Evans was hooked. He spent night after night scanning galaxies, his notebooks filling with sketches, charts, and details. He was chasing ghosts of the cosmos. And soon, the quiet pastor from Hazelbrook would go on to break records, baffling astronomers worldwide. His eyes would become sharper than any machine. By the early 1980s, professional astronomers had one advantage: technology, giant telescopes, digital instruments, computer analysis. Robert Evans had only his eyes, but they would prove sharper than machines. Evans trained his memory like a musician trains his ear. He memorized the positions of thousands of galaxies, every swirl, every smudge, every faint cluster. When something changed, he knew instantly. Imagine scattering salt on a black tablecloth. Now imagine 1,500 such tables, stretching for miles. Somewhere among those grains, a new one appears. Evans could find it. While large telescopes could study 50 galaxies in a night, Evans scanned 400. His telescope danced like a gunner's turret, snapping from one patch of sky to the next. Night after night he watched. Sometimes months passed with nothing. But when a supernova appeared, it was unmistakable. A tiny pinprick of light in a place where yesterday there was only darkness. By 1993, Evans had discovered more supernovas with his backyard telescope than any observatory in the world. His name appeared again and again in astronomical bulletins. Some professionals dismissed him as lucky, others saw genius. How could a pastor with a homemade telescope outperform the world's best instruments? Evans only shrugged. He never claimed to be extraordinary. He said simply, "I just have a knack for spotting star fields." For Evans, it wasn't about numbers. Each supernova was a messenger from the past, a death witnessed millions of years after it happened. To him, it was almost spiritual, proof of the vast story unfolding above us. But Evans's journey was far from over. The universe was about to test him, and his quiet garden in Australia would become the stage for discoveries that changed how we measure the cosmos itself. A star is a factory of fire, a balance between gravity pulling inward and nuclear fusion pushing outward. But when the fuel runs out, gravity always wins. In an instant, the core collapses. The star shrinks in a fraction of a second. Outer layers crash inward, then rebound outward with unimaginable force. One supernova releases more energy in a moment than our sun will in its entire lifetime. 100 billion suns exploding all at once. But here's the mystery. Evans wasn't watching the present. He was watching the past. The light of every supernova had traveled for millions of years before reaching his backyard. To Evans, each discovery felt like more than science. It was communion, the silent death of a star, witnessed by a single human being on a quiet veranda in the Blue Mountains. Without these deaths, we would not exist. Heavy elements were forged in stellar explosions. We are, quite literally, the children of dying stars. A supernova nearby could wipe out life on Earth in an instant. Radiation, cosmic rays, the collapse of our protective shield against the sun. Yet the universe is mercifully vast. One star does keep astronomers awake at night. Betelgeuse, a red giant, unstable and trembling. One day it will explode, but at about 642 light-years away, it will dazzle without danger. By spotting supernovae as they appeared, Evans gave astronomers living laboratories, chances to study how stars die, how galaxies evolve, and how the universe itself expands. And yet, the story of supernovae is also the story of obsession, conflict, and brilliance. Before Evans, a different figure had already dared to imagine these deaths and was ridiculed for it. Long before Robert Evans ever looked through his telescope, a Swiss scientist named Fritz Zwicky dared to suggest something outrageous, that stars could collapse in titanic explosions, creating what he called supernovas. Zwicky was brilliant but abrasive. He insulted colleagues, called them fools, and often worked alone. But he saw what others could not, the violent deaths of stars, and the birth of something even stranger. In 1933, with colleague Walter Baade, Zwicky proposed that a dying star could collapse into an object no larger than a city, but so dense a teaspoon would weigh billions of tons. He called it a neutron star. The idea sounded insane. Newspapers mocked him. Fellow scientists rolled their eyes. Supernovae was a word that drew laughter, not respect. For decades, Zwicky lived in the shadow of ridicule, yet time proved him right. In 1967, radio astronomers discovered pulsars, the very neutron stars Zwicky had predicted. Zwicky had been the first to map the explosive deaths of stars. He gave the world the word supernova, but by the time he was proven right, recognition came too late. Where Zwicky had been ridiculed for predicting supernovas, Robert Evans quietly became the man who found them. One fought the establishment, the other won their respect by persistence. In truth, every flash Evans discovered was a whisper of Zwicky's vision, proof that the rebel scientist had been right all along. For Evans, these weren't just scientific events. They were echoes of a cosmic drama, the collapse of giants, the transformation of matter, the ultimate proof that even destruction creates beauty. But the story doesn't end with Zwicky's redemption or Evans's devotion. The night sky itself would soon deliver rare gifts, flashes so bright they became part of human history. In all of recorded history, humans have witnessed only a handful of supernovas bright enough to be seen without telescopes. The sky itself became a stage. In 1006, observers across China, Egypt, and Europe recorded a star so bright it cast shadows at night. For weeks, it was visible in daylight, likely the brightest observed stellar event in recorded history. In 1054, Chinese astronomers recorded a star so bright we know it now as the Crab Nebula, the ghost of a star still expanding. European monks, too, noticed strange stars. They feared them as omens, signs of plagues, wars, or the wrath of heaven. In 1572, Tycho Brahe saw a star ignite so brightly it rivaled Venus. And in 1604, Johannes Kepler chronicled another, visible even in the day. These events transformed astronomy forever. In 1987, a star exploded in the Large Magellanic Cloud, just 168,000 light-years away. For the first time, modern instruments captured the birth of a supernova in real time. Robert Evans was there, not at an observatory, but in his garden. He saw the light of that star, knowing it had begun its death when humans were still painting on cave walls. These events connect us across centuries. From monks with candles to scientists with satellites, humanity has always looked upward and felt both fear and wonder. Supernovas remind us the universe moves on a scale far beyond our lives. For us, they are rare. For the cosmos, they are constant, the quiet rhythm of death and rebirth. But for Robert Evans, supernovas were not rare. In his quiet backyard, they became companions, and soon he would find more than anyone else in history. While most people slept, Robert Evans kept watch. Night after night, year after year, he returned to his telescope. It became a ritual, steady, patient, almost monastic. His notebooks grew into an army of pages, each filled with galaxies, coordinates, notes in red ink, a lifetime of watching, waiting, and recording. Evans could scan 400 galaxies in a single night, more than any observatory could manage. His telescope became an extension of his body, his memory sharper than film. The discoveries piled up. Each new supernova carried the same thrill, a tiny light where yesterday there had been only darkness. By the early 1990s, Evans had found more supernovas than any individual in history. His name echoed in astronomical telegrams, each discovery spreading across the world overnight. Professional astronomers were stunned. How could a lone pastor in the Blue Mountains see what their million-dollar telescopes missed? In 2001, Evans spotted his 40th supernova, a world record. By the end of his career, his tally reached more than 40 discovered by eye, and hundreds more confirmed with assistance. Evans never bragged. For Evans, each flash in the sky was more than science. It was a reminder that the universe was alive, that creation and destruction were woven together. His faith and his science were never in conflict. But records are not the end of the story. Behind every discovery was something deeper, a cosmic reminder of just how fragile and fleeting our world truly is. A supernova is breathtaking, but also terrifying. If one exploded close enough, Earth would be erased in an instant. A silent flash, brighter than the sun, ending everything. Scientists estimate that if a supernova erupted within 30 light years, it could strip away our atmosphere and flood us with lethal radiation. Fortunately, no star that close is big enough to explode soon. We are safe, for now. But in the grand sweep of cosmic time, it is only a matter of when. One day, Betelgeuse in Orion will explode. From Earth, it will shine like a second sun. For months, nights will never be dark, but it lies far enough away that it will only dazzle, not destroy. Evans understood this fragility. Each new supernova he spotted was a reminder that nothing lasts forever. Not stars, not worlds, not us. Yet out of destruction comes creation. We live because of death. We shine because stars died. Evans often spoke of this mystery, that the very universe that can erase us also made us possible. In his own way, Evans became a messenger between heaven and earth. Through his eyes, humanity was reminded that our existence is both fragile and extraordinary. For decades, he carried that wonder alone in his garden. While the world below rushed on, Evans kept watch, patient and faithful to the stars. And in the end, his story was not just about stars dying, but about what they left behind and what we can learn from a man who listened to their final light. To most, it was a hobby. To him, it was a calling, a mission to witness the universe's most fleeting moments. He was not paid for his work. He did not seek fame. His reward was wonder itself, the privilege of seeing cosmic explosions. Though humble, Evans's extraordinary skill did not go unnoticed. In 1988, he received the prestigious Order of Australia Medal, recognizing his unmatched contributions to astronomy. And in 1996, the Astronomical Society of New South Wales awarded Evans their most prestigious honor, the McNiven Medal. Scientific journals published his findings, observatories sought his insight, and amateur astronomers marveled at how a man with a backyard telescope could outperform sophisticated instruments. Yet fame never changed him. For Evans, the stars were always the reward, the discoveries simply part of the journey. The universe does not remember us for long, but through Evans, humanity remembered stars that might otherwise have faded unnoticed. His gaze bridged the gap between eternity and a single quiet backyard. What do we learn from a man like Robert Evans? That patience matters, that wonder matters, that even one small life can hold a universe within it if you know how to look. Just as stars die so we can live, Evans reminds us, our existence may seem small, but its impact can echo across time. And sometimes, witnessing the death of a star can teach us the most about living. In his quiet garden, Evans became a messenger between the vastness of space and the smallness of our lives. Through his eyes, The universe spoke, and we were privileged to listen. Imagine a beam of light from dying stars traveling millions of years, crossing voids of space, only to meet a single pair of eyes waiting. That is a true gift of life. The stars will continue to die, new ones will be born. But as long as we remember Robert Evans, we remember what it means to look up, to marvel, and to feel alive. And so, dear listener, that's where today's story ends. Let's continue walking the path of great minds and moments together. Remember, every great mind was once just curious. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next chapter of Mind Mint. Goodbye.